So yeah, starting the session tonight,
Take
session 21. Meg, over to you for the recap.
Commitment night. One of the biggest nights of the year for those that joined the volunteer force. For a night of dancing, drinks, celebration, and maybe even romance, nearly every volunteer made their way to the grounds for the party, and our heroes were no exception. Preparing for the big night, they had all gone shopping throughout the week and asked their dates, and for nearly everyone it was a success. Though Shinzo, Hayes' hoped-for guest, would be working, he had agreed to save a dance for them, and it seemed like everything would work out just fine. Marigold had been so kind as to make boutonnieres for everyone and their dates, and the party had been just as wonderful as they had expected. Teddy and Jaden had gone to fetch drinks, and Yenros caused a bit of a stir about Zarius that was quickly dealt with, and as the discomfort quickly turned to water under the bridge, Xanthi and Yenros had the chance to bond as they spiked the punch. While milling about, Teddy asked Jaden whether or not he knew a third year by the name of Rakesh Artina, the mysterious author of the redacted paper. Jaden was able to find him talking to a dark pink-skinned tiefling. Teddy went to grab Hayes and Marigold, and they were able to ask him their questions. Rakesh told them all about the mission to the lab south of Old Haven, and highlighted a few key points: the strange time things, the abundance of elves and elvish notes, time and gravity magic seemingly being written and worked on, and the anti-magic monster and the arcane battery. Marigold and Zarius had some time and got to chat with Crusher as well. I couldn't remember when that happened in the session because I was too enamored by the conversation to take notes on it, so if that happened earlier, forgive me. Go back and watch the session. Exchanging contact information with Rakesh, and satisfied with their interaction, the party headed back to a central area to discuss when a rumbling quake from below disrupted them, and several creatures and a few swarms spawned. The creatures were able to ingest magic and seemed to trigger into a swarm when magic was cast, resulting in the problem growing. The party saw the pink tiefling from earlier getting swamped by a swarm and leapt into action. Yenros's eyes went black, and he grew claws and a strange jaw. Luckily, with hundreds of volunteers, the problem resolved quickly. Commander Hawthorne offered a big congratulations, and the party kicked back off. The party split up a bit to check in on their friends and dates, and while he had her alone, Yenros suggested that he and Xanthi eavesdrop on the commander, and I have mixed notes and it's unclear, so I would love some clarifying details. Was it a halfling lieutenant that was also there, or was the halfling the mage from the
No, so the halfling was the second in command. So you all know this individual theoretically.
Great.
See him out and about, a dark-skinned halfling, and then it was also the mage who is a half-elf from the Mara Society.
Got it. Okay. Editing that right now. Half-elf mage. So he and Xanthi were eavesdropping on that conversation. They had set up wards around the area, but they didn't seem to be fully effective, as they didn't hold against the creatures as they should have. And it seems that, in general, the wards have been less effective than usual as of late, according to the Smaru Society mage. Lieutenant Lealia appeared then, carrying a broken cylinder that was reminiscent of the arcane battery as described by Rakesh, but Xanthi wasn't there for that conversation, so that will happen at some point. The canister is being held in an evidence locker and exploded. That rumbling sound from earlier as, like, the aftermath. The mage suggested that had they been given the canister from the get-go, this wouldn't have been an issue, as everything from the vault, they had no idea how unstable it could be. Kind of like blaming the schoolhouse almost for not letting them have whatever they want. I don't know, I think it's shady business. At that point, Lealia saw Xanthi watching and took the conversation elsewhere. Crazy. While that was happening, Hayes went to the infirmary to check on Shinzo and to see if they could help at all with the wounded, and it became clear that they very much needed help, as someone was being affected by planar corruption, and their limbs are starting to turn into trees, and that is probably where we'll pick up this session, and I'm stressed out about it! Woo!
And you don't even know it's happening. You're just talking with Jaden.
Yep.
All right.
I'm schmoozing.
You are.
You get, like, spidey senses about something.
A medicine check needs to be made.
Exactly. I'm sensing someone's in need of medical assistance. Did you press life alert? All right.
Silly.
Well then, coming in from that recap, yeah, we will jump into the session today. I think basically the rest of the group, so Xanthi, Marigold, and Zarius, Jaden, and Teddy are all getting drinks near the bar. It appears after the little conversation with Xanthi about the eavesdropping, Yenros kind of headed off to do their own thing, whatever that entails. As their eyes did go back to the usual color of gray that they are. And as this kind of this part of the party is getting drinks and kind of just looking around at the rest of the group, we'll jump into Hayes. You just saw in the medic tent Shinzo there, trying to kind of perform some sort of medicine, magical or just a check otherwise, on a human woman who was currently screaming and writhing around the ground in pain. You could see the branches sprouting from her body, kind of out of the side of her mouth, as Shinzo panickingly saw you come in and yelled for you to go find Lieutenant Reichmere. So with that, Hayes, as you're back out of the medic tent, what are you doing?
I've while looking around for Lieutenant Reichmere, probably also walk texting the alley of if you see Lieutenant Reichmere, send infirmary tent, emergency, please.
Mm-hmm. All right, yeah, you send off that message.
Calling out for him, looking around for him. Where is this guy?
Yeah, give me a investigation check, most likely, as you haven't really seen Lieutenant Reichmere tonight. You assume that if Shinzo asked you to get him, he is somewhere in here, but there's been a ton of volunteers. He's probably around.
Yeah. Get my character sheet up real quick. I forgot that you have to do that.
Yes, D&D does need character sheet, dice.
Investigation is a +0, so that's an 18.
18. Yeah, you
I could have blessed myself, but nah, that's fine.
You kind of spend probably 10 or so minutes just after sending that message, kind of running to the different areas you think Lieutenant Reichmere might be, quickly popping your head in and looking for the broadest dwarf you've ever met in the courtyard area. You don't see him in there. You pop into the actual infirmary that's inside the schoolhouse. Doesn't seem to be anyone's in there. You kind of look around some of the hallways, trying to see if there's anyone here. And with an 18, as it was pretty difficult to find Lieutenant Reichmere, you do end up finding, at about the same time, you see, which you just briefly recognize, a volunteer that had been in the infirmary with Shinzo, so another medic, so to speak. Kind of the two of you converge on Lieutenant Reichmere at the same time, who seems to just be casually chatting with one of the volunteers that's probably in his cohort. And you and the other volunteer run up, and you see that Lieutenant Reichmere looks up to see two very concerned individuals asking for him. I was yes, what?
You're needed in the infirmary tent, please. It's an emergency.
Ah, shite. And yeah, puts down the drink, and this broad dwarf goes charging after you, as you all head back into the infirmary tent. You see that on the way, the other individual, kind of a shaggy-haired human, is giving Reichmere the kind of rundown of what happened. He's Katya wasn't feeling well, and she came in. I don't exactly know what happened, but next thing we know, she was complaining about not being able to move her limbs and started screaming in pain. And Lieutenant, I think you're going to want to brace yourself for this. As you all charge back across the courtyard, kind of the three of you running through the festivities that now have started to really pick up. A lot of the volunteers are bad at holding their liquor and are pretty sloshed with the free alcohol. So like all this revelry's going on, people are shouting, having a good time, and it's just the three of you kind of almost deaf to all that, sprinting back to the medic tent. And you can hear before you even get there the kind of screaming that is coming from the tent. As you see the other volunteer kind of pulls the tent aside and Reichmir heads in, you see that he kind of turns and stops you, Hayes, and is like, thank you for getting me, but I think this is... I'll take it from here.
Okay.
And he just dips into the tent when he hears more screaming coming from inside. And you can see, like, right as the tent is pulled back, you can see that, like, Shinzo is on the ground trying to, like, stabilize this individual. You can see that there's another one of the kind of healers in there as well. And they look up very panicked and see Lieutenant Reichmir come in. And give me another... You give me an investigation check. Give me just a perception check as this happens. Or at perception or insight, sorry.
I mean, yeah, insight 18.
18. As... You can see as Reichmir kind of turns and sees what is going on, his entire demeanor changes, and there is a panic and a little bit of a... What is the right word? Panic and also... I want to say like fatality. That's not the right word, but I don't know what to get across of what he is seeing with this volunteer. And as the kind of tent kind of swings back shut, Hayes, you were kind of just left standing there hearing the screams and the kind of, at this point, garbled chat between these four individuals trying to save this person's life.
Yeah. No, that's not the right thing. I'm like, should I bless one of them? But I don't. I'm thinking guidance, which I don't have.
Damn.
Then, yeah. I'm gonna stand at the door of the tent, debating on should I go in? But then there's so many people, and but I feel like I should do something. But what can I do? I'm gonna go back out and try to find friends and be a little shaken up about that.
Yeah. So as that's happening, the three of you are having a conversation around the bar with your dates. What are you chatting about?
That was crazy, man. Not that.
You know, I'll still have to fill in Hayes later, but I can probably tell Teddy and Marigold about, well, I don't know. Should I do it in front of your dates? Maybe not.
Well, Zarius is our sponsor, but I don't know, yeah. I don't know.
Oh, we haven't told them, everything. Well, this wasn't, super secret. I'll just be like, oh, like, I heard a conversation between the commander and some of the other lieutenants and someone from the Marut Society.
Not
Seemed
Xanthi
like-
gossiping.
Yeah. She'll be like,
Word on the street is.
yeah. She'll be like, yeah. They definitely know what caused it, but trying to sweep it under the rug. So she maybe won't like go into all the boring details that Jaden and Zarius don't have the backstory for.
Mm-hmm.
Although she doesn't really either, because she wasn't there for the part of the conversation with the Rakesh, so she has no reason not to be like, yeah, they were holding this cylinder, and they like apparently it broke, and that's what caused this to happen, and like, yeah. She'll mention the what they were saying about the wards too. She'll just spill it all. Why not? There's nothing. She has no reason to know that it ties into anything else. So yeah, I'll be like, kind of.
Can I make a vibe check or an insight check? I guess would be the proper term. Based on that information and also how, like, you know, we just fought some things. How is Jaden doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Give me an insight check.
Okay. Ooh, that is pretty good. Dirty 20. Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You see that Jaden is listening to what Xanthi's saying, but it doesn't seem like he has any more like context than really. If anything, he has less context, and he's just like interesting and like paying attention, but doesn't seem to be like caught up in like, oh no, should we be saying this? He's listening, and yeah, I mean, he's not, and I didn't roll anything because he's not trying to hide anything. So,
Sure.
yeah, he doesn't seem shaken up by the combat. Because again, he was like barely hurt. His whole thing is not using magic, so this was just like go smash some rats. Yeah, don't have to worry about it. Whatever. Like him and Russell.
To see how Zarius is.
Yeah,
doing?
go ahead. Roll an insight on Zarius.
Okay, that was good. 18.
18. Zarius is putting on a bit of a brave face. He has decided he would love to not be here anymore. It's too many people. And you know, he was not having a good time when creatures attacked because he is a civilian and has no real capabilities of fighting. Other than apparently self-destruct.
Hearts out of their little rat chest.
You know, maybe he's not entirely sure the range or if it can differentiate friend or foe. And blowing up a bunch of volunteers would really not be a good look if he did that. So yeah, you can see like he's like tapping the side of the drink like pretty anxiously and like fidgeting, and like listening to the conversation, but isn't really paying attention because he has even less context for everything than Jaden does, I think, at this point, really. So, yeah, you can see he's being polite about it.
Marigold doesn't want to leave just yet, but she's like, doesn't want him to like stay if he's not comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's so hard to be a girl. I think Marigold will, like, after, like, the conversation kind of, like, starts to change subjects, will probably, like, quick, like, I guess, like, finish her drink and grab another one and then be like, with everything that's been going on, I think I'm feeling pretty tired. I think I'm ready to go home. Are you ready, Zarius?
Are you lying?
Marigold is lying, but it is very obvious to anyone who's
That
trying to
she's-
insight her that she's doing it. Like she's not like she's doing it
It's
so
a bit,
that
yeah.
Zarius doesn't have to say that.
Yeah.
Like she's doing it for him.
Yeah. Zarius rolled very well on insight as well. It's like, oh, I'm all right. I was just thinking I, too, could use another drink. So perhaps I will get a refill if you have more to discuss. And then Zarius, like, takes a few steps and, like, gives a slight, like, polite nod and, like, heads to the drink table to get more alcohol. Whether he's going to drink it, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Marigold will stick with Zarius.
Yeah. As this is all happening, you see that the music from the band has picked up into kind of a lively tune that's great for dancing. You see that volunteers in the courtyard have mostly recovered from the surprise attack. A few of them have, they're sporting new scars, or better yet, like new heroic stories. The drinks are flowing freely in anticipation for the fireworks show on the front lawn. And Hayes, as you enter back, you see that most of your squad is kind of hanging around the bar. You see Zarius and Marigold are at the bar, looks like getting drinks. And Xanthi and Jaden and Teddy are all kind of clustered off to the side, talking. And you are free to head on over there, if you so choose, or wherever you would like to go.
Yeah, I choose. The only people that I interact with.
Good. Yeah.
Could go bingle, but this is not a mingling mood. I don't.
No,
think.
I don't know if this is the time to mingle.
No.
But yeah, I'd say as you head over there, I'm not even gonna really ask for insight check. I don't think Hayes is trying to hide it. That they seem pretty shook up as Hayes approaches.
Hi.
Everything all right? You look pale. In his mind, he's like, I mean, not that pale, but like.
Oh, okay.
Is it a changeling thing? Is that a changeling reference?
Not like terribly pale. Are you feeling okay?
I think that whenever Teddy says you look pale, it's kind of like does like a panic glance to their hands real quick.
Sorry, I'm sorry, I didn't think that through.
No, it's fine.
Classic Teddy moment right there.
Awesome Teddy blunder.
Oh, what do you mean terribly pale? Is it so terrible? No, I'm fine. I went to the infirmary tent to check on, see if there's anything that they needed help with, combat and all. I'm fine. I don't know. There's just something going on. Yeah. Not sure how much to like say in front of like the plus ones.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Is Shinzo okay?
Shinzo's fine. Well, physically, yeah.
He looks concerned.
At this moment, Jaden, who has seen the multiple instances of your group wanting to like talk to each other, and no matter how slick you're being, you're still like, yes, the others that are involved. And you see that Jaden, who rolled very well on his insight, is like, actually, I was just thinking, I might go check in with Russell. Haven't seen the big guy around. I'm sure he's fine. But I'll let you all get caught up. Seems like there's some things, and Teddy, we can.
I'll come find you later.
Okay, yeah, great. All right. Have a good night. And Jaden walks off to allow you all to speak freely.
Great. I mean, theoretically, it is something that like anyone should know, but yeah, give the rundown on what was seen.
I mean, I am clocking it as planar corruption. Would the rest of us also probably be like, oh, that's what's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, how much did Teddy talk about, like, his dream about planar corruption?
Well, I
Oh,
know
that's a
enough
good question.
that Xanthi and Marigold had a conversation about your head being a cloud.
Yeah.
I think that was because of Lear's lecture, right?
Yeah,
We
no,
learned
yeah,
about
it
that
was.
from Lear's
Yeah,
lecture.
I think it was, yeah. Because they were talking about, like, oh, your body can do things, and your head can be a flame.
There's this like part of me where I'm like, we should go see if we can help. But also, Hayes was not allowed to go in there to help. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to try and like push that. But also the fact that like stuff is happening
Marigold
behind closed doors makes me sad.
I know.
Scared.
Do you think they could use help? Like, do you think it's like I don't know, more healing spells?
I mean, Lieutenant Reichmir's in there, and if he can't help, then there's nothing we can do.
Lucas, question for you. In my dream, do I remember what it was that the body did to lessen the symptoms or the effects of it? I know I made like a medicine check, but I wasn't sure. Like, was it a healing spell or was it some other made up spell, or like what happened to make it better?
Yeah, it was kind of. Let's see, without giving it away, it was not a spell like Teddy would notice.
Sure.
So I think, and also with like the whole dream thing, you're not sure if like you felt like your magic was also being used, but then like you weren't really there. So like, what's that
Not
about?
mine, yeah.
Yeah. So what
Okay.
like so yeah, you can't be like, well, oh yeah, the person like recited a spell that I'm aware of and did whatever. So
Okay, got it. Would it be worth sending a message to Lear? I mean, they've studied the planes a lot and knows a lot about planar corruption. Would there maybe be something that they've studied that could be of help?
Maybe. Do we still have their contact in our tablet? Because you said not all of them were there.
that's true. Roll me a D100.
$57.
Yep, still have their contact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, can we send a quick note about that?
Sure. What are you saying?
It's Teddy's idea.
Just give the tablet to Teddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna pass the tablet to Teddy.
Tree-related planar corruption. What do we do? Like 5 question marks.
Okay, cool. Noted.
Send this guy off on vacation and then don't talk to her for a month. And they just get a text.
You guys are the like fucking kings and queens of just stressful texts to receive. It's like that one friend that if you receive a text, they're like, "Been in a car accident. It's okay though. The police picked me up," and you're like, "Fuck."
It's like my mom texting out of the blue. Can we talk? ... question mark. And I'm like, and then she's just like, it's just been a while. How are you doing? And I'm like, Mom, you can't send a text like that.
Yeah,
Well, wish
I think
Not to bring the party down.
Well,
I would want to know.
you know, while we're sharing, Xanthi will tell Hayes what they missed because she already told Teddy and Marigold, but she'll be like, I overheard. She'll give you the gossip. But like, and don't we need to like still talk to that guy?
we talked to that guy while you were off somewhere. And fill in Xanthi on all the details of that conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, tell Sarah what she said.
Okay. Fair. Okay.
I think Teddy is gonna make his way over to the tent.
I want to go too. I want to see the tree. I mean, the person.
He'll be telling Xanthi as we're walking. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
quickly.
I
Is-
think if at least one person heads that way, he's also gonna go.
Yeah. Is Marigold joining as well?
No, she went with Zarius, so she doesn't know this is happening. 2 is the only one in the party that can't heal, so I feel like she'd just get in the way. Like if she were aware of this situation, she wouldn't want to get in the way of the situation.
Yeah.
Plus, she's definitely the most likely to be kicked out.
But you can be invisible, and so you can eavesdrop.
I could, but sorry, she's not there
Sorry,
for
she's
the
on
conversation
a
that the
date.
3 of them are having. She is getting us a drink with Zarius. Maybe sees Jaden. No, Jaden is looking for Russell, isn't it, at the bar? Maybe sees Crusher. I don't know.
Having a conversation. But yeah, as the 3 of you follow kind of Hayes to where the medic tent is, as you approach, you see now that there is Commander Ramy's Hawthorne outside the tent, along with the halfling. It is essentially like barricaded off with kind of some black and gold like warning tape, and they seem to be like quietly talking. And you all are like, there's like a little bit of a crowd because people love to gawk. So you can like see some other like drunk volunteers with like drinks being like, what do you think's going on in there? Like, I heard. And it's just like absolute nonsense. So you see that as you approach the area.
I think he's not gonna like walk through the like tape or whatever, but I think he's gonna kind of call out Commander Hawthorne.
You see she kind of stops talking to her second in command and like looks up and sees you all and walks over. Yes.
We know what's going on, and I've seen this before. Is there anything that we can do to help?
You see she looks concerned and is like, well, I appreciate that greatly. I do understand the desire to lend aid when you can, but I think at this time Lieutenant Reichmere has it handled, so it's best to go ahead and enjoy the festivities and, well, keep those in our prayers, yes?
I would like to insight check the Reichmere as I handled
Yeah, go
personally. It's gonna be a 15. Excuse me.
A 15. The commander is a very persuasive individual who has like a good grasp on mitigating situations and making people feel like everything's going well, everything's under control. You can see that she is visibly nervous, and she is saying Lieutenant Reichmere has it under control, and she is not sure if that is actually the case. But as you all would know Lieutenant Reichmere is the highest like healer that the volunteers have in Old Haven. So, if Lieutenant Reichmere doesn't have it under control, well, she's going to say... yeah, she's going to say that he does because that's what you have to do as the leader.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can see she's like, if you'll excuse me, I must continue to attend to this. Please, enjoy the party. And good evening. And you see she heads back, and a couple of the like other senior volunteers kind of like one of them steps up and he's got like his shield and like a sword and he's like bangs on. He's like, all right, clear out. Stop. There's nothing to see here. Clear out. Go party. We're fine. You can hear the rumors later. Get out of here. As he's like trying to shoo away a bunch of drunk youth, even though he's probably also like 25.
Not with it.
Well,
She seemed nervous.
mm-hmm.
The commander.
Yeah.
I know that there's nothing that we can do, but still can't help feeling, you know. So what do we do?
There's nothing that I remember that I had heard, like Xanthi had heard about planar corruption, like in Serenity's Roost. I remember like rolling for that a long time ago. Would she, like, has she heard about like, this is like it's like a terminal thing, like it happens in your, or in what context had she heard about it?
Yeah, I think this would probably be honestly a history or medicine check. So
History, because I think I have proficiency in that. I do. Okay. That's not great. Yeah. It's a total of 10.
you're not really sure. It's like, you know, a big scary term that gets thrown around, but you don't really know exactly what that entails. And to be fair, I don't think Hayes fully described what was happening to that individual. Or did you once everyone left? Or once Jaden left? You did?
Yeah.
Okay, so make your own conclusions about what happens when your limbs turn to tree branches or / grow tree branches out of them. And Hayes, there is no more screaming, so...
Hate that. I mean, don't hate that, but mixed feelings.
How badly do we want to know what's going on in there?
Pretty badly. I mean, I don't like all the lying that's happening.
Teddy's gonna look to Hayes.
Is he?
Not usually a good sign when there's like,
Yeah.
you know, so much like covering things up.
Mhm.
Doesn't inspire a lot of confidence in the leadership.
Do you have a plan, Teddy?
He's like not standing near the guy with the sword and shield, you know, and I think he's just gonna kind of, I mean, I could turn into a mouse again.
Oh?
True.
That is...
Or like, can you go smaller? Spider?
I could go smaller, yes.
I feel like a mouse in an infirmary tent is gonna
Probably
be
not
another-
wise. Okay. He's gonna kind of wait for like there to be kind of like a big like oh like kind of moment in the crowd, and he's gonna try and as subtly as possible turn into a spider.
Yeah. The 6'2" man suddenly becomes a spider. Not noticeable at all.
I think he's gonna go and see like if there are any Goliath or Dragonborn or like other like very tall
Yeah.
people around. He's
Yeah,
gonna
don't
kind of, like,
stand
walk
next to your
behind
group
them.
of
You can go
tiny
behind
people.
Crusher.
Yeah, he'll go behind Crusher and turn into a spider.
Yeah.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy, don't mind me. All right. Yeah. You turn into a spider, and you kind of make your way underneath this caution tape, dodging steps of other senior volunteers to make sure you don't get stomped on and turn
Yeah.
into a human.
He's like, oh my God, a spider hyperventilating.
Yeah. And you enter the tent. And with that, Teddy, I think we're gonna take it to a different
no,
channel.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm sorry. Somebody tell Marigold what's going on.
It's okay.
All right.
So I don't want her to have FOMO.
She's
Alright.
fine. Don't worry.
She's on a date.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. Let's see here. Teddy, you kind of, as your little spider self, duck into the infirmary tent. You see that a lot of the lights are kind of like dimmed, and at the far end of the tent, you see that there is Lieutenant Reichmere looking pretty stressed and down. You see there's the behind him, like closer to where you came in, say you kind of came in like the front area, is the other two kind of senior volunteers that you don't recognize. And then you see sitting on one of the cots, kind of just like looking down at his hands, is Shinzo. And then on the ground, mostly covered by a tarp, is what looks to be a human body, but you can see like branches kind of sticking out the sides, and the ground, the like dirt floor around it, is a dark coloration of what you can only imagine is blood. But you see that Shinzo seems to be answering some questions from Lieutenant Reichmere, and is like, well, I tried to administer aid to the best of my knowledge. I think I probably tended to her for maybe 25 minutes. And you see Reichmere's like, right, and with your bare hands you touch the body. And you see Shinzo's like, yeah, I didn't realize what was going on at first, so... And then kind of stops, is like, Lieutenant, is that going to happen to me? I didn't realize what it was, and if I had, I would have sent everyone out sooner. I'm sorry, I didn't realize. And you see Reichmer's like, hey, son, take it easy. It's all right. We'll figure this out. We'll figure this out. Just stay here. I'll go talk to the commander. And he like gets up and walks by you, thumping the ground, and you're like, oh, get away. The broad dwarf. And you see that Shinzo's kind of got his hands, his face in his hands, and the two other volunteers are kind of keeping a distance from both Shinzo and the body. And you can see now, like, Reichmere kind of passes through will look to be like a force field, where Shinzo and the body are on one side and everyone else was on the other.
Okay. Okay. In my dream, there were no gloves or anything involved, so that makes me feel a little bit better about things.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's super sad, though. I don't think there's anything else that I can do as a spider.
Yeah, you know. And I'll say, like,
Oh.
you can see, like, the air in the tent is pretty heavy, and, like, the other two volunteers don't really know what to say to Shinzo, and Shinzo doesn't seem to be saying anything to them. So it is mostly just a
Yeah.
gloomy kind of silence and a heavy silence that's in the air.
Okay. Guess I'll go back with the rest of the group now.
Aren't you really excited that you learned something?
Hooray.
All right.
Alright, bye.
Yep.
Dang. What's
What?
up?
Okay, bad.
Morbid curiosity. That's just.
What's
Yeah.
up?
So, well, we just got back, Lucas and I. So Teddy is gonna crawl out of the tent, scuttle along the ground, and go find somewhere to turn back into a boy, Teddy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, boy, man, Teddy, man, the man, the guy. He's gonna find the rest of, well, I don't know if he's gonna find Marigold, because Marigold's off. We'll fill her in later, I guess. I have to hash it out twice. I'm sorry, buddy.
sorry.
No, I just feel bad.
I
that,
mean,
like, you're
if
missing out.
if you all went to grab Marigold while Teddy was like reconning, we could do that. So that way, I feel like it's better than just be like,
Yeah, that
and
makes
and
sense.
someone said this, because then it's hard to react and like RP with like, and I said this before. So
We'll just like go over there and be like, we just need to borrow her for just 1 second. And we'll just like, pull you back over to the table.
Oh, okay.
okay.
He's like, please don't leave me alone.
No, you see that Zarius actually is like, he wasn't expecting when he walked away for you to come with him. Like, he wasn't upset by it, but he was very much trying to give you a moment to be like, if you need to handle things with your group. But then you came with him and he was like, cool, like, we can keep chatting. And then when they're like, actually, he was like, okay, that's fine. So you see that Crusher's there. Crusher walks up, his new babysitter. Crusher. And
By
so,
the end of the night,
yeah.
Crusher will be Zarius' older brother.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
It's written in the stars. They can't avoid it.
Yeah, it's true. It's the Star Boys.
Got it.
Yeah. So, Marigold, you feel a little bit better that at least Zarius won't be alone, and that means that Yenros can't go pick on him, because you know that Crusher will not allow that if Yenros tried to. So yeah, we'll say you all were able to gather up Marigold, and you all kind of meet in like a little alcove, basically off to the side of the party, the big party.
Am I missing something?
Yeah, there's something going on in the tent, and Teddy, I think. Did the recon go well?
No. No. Hayes told us that there's somebody that was seemingly dealing with planar corruption, and so I went inside, as a spider, and it didn't seem like there was anything that could have been done for her.
Is she
Shinzo
dead?
is... Yes. As if a tree had grown out from inside of her.
How does that even happen? I mean,
How does anything happen?
planar merges such a long time, and there haven't been any cases heard of before. Not since back whenever Teddy's dream happened.
I wish that was all there was to it, but it seems that they have Shinzo in some kind of quarantine.
Oh.
He administered to her with their hands, and it doesn't seem like they're sure whether or not it's transmissible that way or not.
Oh.
In my dream, it was, there weren't any gloves or barriers in place, and so I should think that if it was fine then it would be fine now, but there's not really a way of knowing.
Marigold's gonna put her hand on Hayes' like arm in like a comforting way.
Yeah, I mean, if you've seen this before and it wasn't transmissible, then surely it'll be okay. I don't know. Are you okay after... I don't know what you saw, but...
I'll be fine.
Okay.
Insight check, Teddy.
Sure.
He's such a sensitive lad.
That was such a bad insight roll.
He's not like hiding anything. Like, tell me what you rolled. And I'll tell you what you get. A 7. I think he definitely seems rattled.
Which makes
sense. I don't know. I think that, like, all things considered, I think either it hasn't sunk in yet, or he's like compartmentalizing it. Like, that's a problem for later.
That's fair.
Right now. I think he's mostly like worried about his buddy Hayes. And their buddy Shinzo. He's buddies with Shinzo a little bit too, right? Like,
yeah.
You don't get 6 cure wounds from a guy and not come out of it friends.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. And thank you for checking, looking.
Sorry, it's not better news.
But how did that even happen? There wasn't even planar merge when those creatures attacked.
At least not one that the tablets detected. I mean, it's possible that they happen and the technology doesn't pick up on it, or... if it's a strange merge, that one didn't pick up on anything at all.
But this was definitely different. So there might be multiple strange merges? And what does this have to do with... Wait. Marigold wasn't there for the canister! Reveal. Never mind.
I think Xanthi has forgotten that she hasn't told Marigold. No, she did tell you about...
Yeah, the hot goss before Xanthi.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, like, Xanthi felt a tremor.
Canister.
Yeah, I felt the ground shake before the monsters appeared. And maybe that was when that canister broke in the... What did they say? It was in the evidence locker or something. But...
Do you think we should go there?
Now?
Well, now would be the time. Everyone's distracted by the mission or king.
I don't know if it's just that you're far away from your mic or something, Tate, but you keep cutting out for me a little bit.
Yeah, same.
Okay. It's okay. Let me just look at my audio settings on Discord.
I suppose that's true. I mean, everybody is out and about.
You think there's more things like that canister in there?
I mean, why not? And even if there aren't, we can see what the aftermath of the explosion looked like.
It might have left something. I saw the broken canister. But yeah, and that Marut Society person was kind of putting up a fuss about how they should have been allowed to have it, how they should be allowed to have anything unexplained.
So,
You think those came out of the canisters?
I don't know.
If they did, something else would have.
The canister was in the evidence locker, which is probably some sort of secured area, a vault or something.
do you
So-
think someone could have broken in?
I don't know. Like, what? Maybe it was just unstable? And it broke just because it wasn't stored in specific conditions? I know sometimes there are magic and technical things that are a little volatile.
I think we should go investigate it.
At least we'd be doing something versus, I mean, I'd like a party, but I don't know if I feel like dancing after that. So,
What about Zarius and Jaden and Yenros?
Yenros, I don't even know where he is.
I think Zarius wants to go home. I was gonna just take him back, but I mean, this seems more important, and I think he'll be okay if Crusher is looking after him. They seem to be getting along. Well, at least Crusher seems to like Zarius.
I mean, we're at the schoolhouse. There are spare rooms if he wants to get away.
And I do know how to pick locks now.
That's good. Maybe you can teach my squid how to do that. Well,
Yenros taught me it wasn't that hard. I picked it up in like a day.
oh,
Oh. You said that whenever you heard that conversation, they went inside to talk more.
Yeah, Lialia sold me out.
Did she sell you out? Did she?
He made direct eye contact with me and then immediately told them that they should go where they can't be overheard.
I mean, I don't think that's selling you out.
I feel like it's selling me out.
It felt personal.
oh.
I felt personally
Well-
attacked.
You
I
didn't
mean, she
say
could
your
have.
name, though.
No, but she
Um.
could have not said anything and let me hear more. But it's fine. I mean,
Wait.
it's
But
not
what if-
fine, but maybe
What if
eventually.
we go to look in the evidence locker and that's where they decided to keep talking?
Well,
And
I
some are
mean,
still there.
Well, they probably already had that conversation because we just saw the commander over by the tent. I'm sure they're talking somewhere, but probably.
plus if we sneak in,
Yeah.
they won't see us.
True. I
Yeah.
say we go for it. Why not? There might be interesting things in there anyway.
Teddy, can you still turn into a spider?
Yes.
I'm going to let Zarius know that I'm going to do something.
I guess I could. Well, she'll make a cursory look around. She's not going to go through the trouble of trying, like, to hunt him down, to let him know she's going to go break in somewhere, even though that seems like something he'd be into. But she will do a cursory glance for Yenros just because she isn't sure about etiquette, but feels like maybe if she's going to just dip from the party permanently.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Use this dice. Ooh, that's an 18 plus 6.
Whoa!
For 24.
Okay.
Yeah,
So your
you
elf eyes see.
you see that Yenros has like a drink in one hand and like his arm around someone, seems to be like talking, and you can see with that Yenros is very specifically placing something in their pocket. And then, like, you know, goes back and, like, cheers them and, like, pretends to wander off. And you can see, like, he gets maybe 20 steps away and then, like, straightens up, like, not tipsy at all. And then continues to look around for another mark.
What? He was placing something in their pocket, not taking it?
Mm-hmm.
What is he doing? Is he waiting? Is he watching them to, like, see what happens? I'm like...
No, he just seems to be, you know, wandering around.
Quick, check your pockets, Cynthia.
He's happy.
You don't have any pockets.
No. Yeah. Alright. You know what? He's fine. Is it rude? I don't know. Teddy, what's etiquette when you go to a party with someone? Do you tell them that you're leaving?
Generally, when you go to a party with someone, you stay with someone. Unless they're rude, of course.
I mean, Teddy, if you're worried about it, you can just stay with Jaden. We can do the
Don't.
investigating.
He is torn. I am also torn. Would we feel comfortable asking him to come with?
I mean,
I don't see why not. Do you think that... I mean, you know him best, I think. Do you think that he would be someone we could have go in with us?
I
As
think
far as-
so. Yes.
Not to allude to
And-
him not being trustworthy, but do you think that he is with something like this?
I do. I've been meaning to tell him more about what's been going on. It just hasn't felt like the appropriate time or place, honestly. And
Yeah.
You know
well,
what?
I am still gonna go talk to Zarius because he shouldn't be coming with us.
Right. Good call. 1 second. And she will actually, on that note, go over to Yenros and be like, oh, okay, all right, well, he might actually help us break in. Also, she recalls that she spiked the drink and the agreement was that he'd be nice to her friends. So she's like, oh, yeah, he can come and try and play nice now.
Oh.
Yeah. You see,
Yeah, can't do a
What
move
he
forward.
deserves, honestly.
you approach and you see Yenros seems to be very obviously like in the shadows looking for another mark as you approach.
We'll just very loudly be like, hey! Like right from directly behind him.
You see he's like, Xanthi, how are you? Care to get into some trouble?
Well, kind of, actually. But not this kind of trouble. Whatever you're doing. She'll like... What? Never mind. Focus. It's not... She was about to ask.
Sarah not being able to ask about something is killing her.
It really is. I was like, I want to know, but not the time. Not the
Don't
time.
scare her off.
Don't scare
I
me.
know. We're gonna go break into the evidence locker vault.
You see, he immediately like straightens and is like, "Oh, okay."
Just not to steal anything, just to do a little investigating.
Okay.
Do you want to break into an evidence locker?
I don't think I need to answer that question.
Okay, cool.
Great.
She'll just turn around.
All right, so Xanthi comes back with Yenros. Marigold, you go. You said you're gonna just tell Zarius that you're gonna be disposed for a moment as you are doing something very, very descriptive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's gonna go over to Zarius and say, Zarius, there is something that I have to go do right now. And as soon as it's done, I'll be back. And then we can go home together. If that's okay with you.
Oh, yes. Well, good luck with whatever it is you are doing.
And if I don't come back for some reason, Crusher, would you be able to walk Zarius home if I'm not back?
You see, Crusher's like, oh, yeah, absolutely, totally. I know where you live. No, I haven't been there. Hold on, wait. You invited me, but I couldn't go. But now I can, so for sure.
Okay, thank you, Crusher. But I should be back.
Okay.
I love how not reassured Zarius is by this whole situation.
You're the one who said, in case I don't come back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, exactly. I had to let him know because I don't want him walking alone by himself at
Yeah,
night.
scary darkness. Scary nighttime
Oh,
darkness.
Also, like, even if Crusher doesn't know where we live, Zarius knows where he lives.
Maybe.
Unless he's getting sloshed.
Well, does Crusher know that Zarius knows where
That's true. Crusher's gonna tell Zarius where he actually lives.
Yeah.
You live here now.
Crusher's gonna be like, in case you didn't know,
Yeah.
this is your house.
Yeah, great.
I found it for you.
I know I've been there, but I'm pretty sure this is your house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Teddy, you're headed to find Jaden.
Yeah.
Jaden, who's not being sneaky, you don't need to make a perception check. It takes maybe a minute or two because, big surprise, Jaden is yapping with some of your fellow classmates, some third years. He's got like a little bit of a group that he seems to be like casually having a conversation with. And you see Russell is kind of standing quietly beside him. And he sees you walk up. He's like, "Oh, hey, Teddy.
Hi.
Everything going all right?"
Yes, can I steal you away for a minute?
Oh, definitely. And he's kind of like, "Hey guys, I'll catch y'all later." And heads off a little bit of ways away. He's like, "Yeah, everything good?" Or
Getting there, I suppose. I have not been very forthcoming about a couple of things, and it's not that I don't want to, it's just that things have been strange and frankly dangerous, and it seems that they are going to continue to be strange and dangerous, and I don't wish to keep you in the dark unless you would like to stay there.
what's going on?
Xanthi and Hayes and Marigold and I are going to go and maybe do something that I... Would you like to come with and I can fill you in as we go? Can I roll for big puppy dog eyes?
Are you
Just kidding.
are you asking, like, are you trying to persuade Jaden to come with you, or are you really trying to see
He's
what
genuinely
his,
just like, if
impa-
you want to keep your nose out of this, I respect that 100%. He like is not wanting to force him into danger,
Yeah.
but also very much like, you know, he doesn't want to let his squad go and do something potentially very dangerous and silly on their own.
Yeah. You see that Jaden just is kind of like, hey, Teddy, I get it. Do what you have to do. Be there for your squad. But maybe it's best if I sit it out. And we can talk after, whatever it is.
Of course.
But I'll have plausible deniability, I guess, right now. So, if anyone asks, I don't know where you went.
If I'm not back by the time this all wraps up,
You'll owe me a dance.
have a dance another time.
Yes, definitely.
Teddy's gonna give him a hug.
Cute, yes. Jaden gives you a big hug back. And it's like, also, don't get hurt again. And then, kind of heads back to Russell and the group, looking over his shoulder once. Dramatic, gotta be dramatic about it.
Oh,
yeah.
I
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah.
And Teddy's gonna take a deep breath and go to the rest of his squad. I think, like, in my mind, it's very, like, there's the party, there's, like, people going crazy, and I think everyone just kind of, like, I don't know, to me it feels quite somber, like, our group here, and so,
Yeah.
like, I don't know.
There's definitely, as you all kind of reconvene, suddenly, you see Teddy's the last one to come back without Jaden. You see Teddy, you come back and see that Zarius is there next to Xanthi. Marigold has returned, obviously Sans. Zarius, Hayes is
Sorry,
there.
did you mean Yenros is
Yep.
next to Xanthi?
Yenros is
Okay,
next.
I was like...
The
wait.
two, their names are not similar whatsoever. They are so different people as well, and the X and Y, I fuck them up.
The end of the alphabet.
The end of the alphabet.
Neighbors.
I don't know. But yeah, you see your little group has formed, and suddenly you all hear kind of a shout go up in the crowd, and several loud explosions. Fireworks. The sky is lit up with bright red, white, and yellow sparks in a beautiful show. It's kind of impossible at the moment to hold a conversation as they're going off. You see this grand celebration over Old Haven. And we'll kind of go around. I think kind of Teddy already stated the kind of somber mood, but what's everyone else kind of feeling and thinking as you have this big dichotomy between the party going on and whatever is internally going on with your group? Just throw it out, feelings.
I think Marigold has kind of this determined look on her face. I feel like she is concerned about the fact that there's something planar going on, another kind of strange merge that's different, and she wants to, like, get to the bottom of that and figure out, like, how is this happening? Like, what is going on? I thought that the strange planar-esque kind of merge that I've encountered before was the only one of its kind. But I feel like she also has been kind of, like, rattled by the fight and how defenseless she felt, not really being able to use her magic. And so now she's like, oh, this is something that I can actually do. Like, I can turn invisible. Breaking into this vault should be pretty easy for me. Like, I can actually be helpful, and I can actually do something.
Yeah. Anyone else? Xanthi or Hayes, what's going through your minds is you're all, like, basically standing there staring at each other because you can't have a conversation while the loud fireworks are going off, but you all know what you're about to go do and what some of you in various different forms have seen tonight.
I mean, I think, first of all, Teddy coming back without Jaden, I think immediately was like, wait, I thought we were bringing people? Were we not bringing people along? but okay. And I think she was like kind of thoughtful already, like imagining like what they might find in the vault. So just maybe just kind of lost in thought, and then probably slightly distracted though by the fireworks, because I think this is definitely a bigger to do than anything like she has seen before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think, well, first, like, hearing that, like, first initial, like, firework commotion, give, like, a panicked look to the rest of the party, and then, oh, it's just fireworks. But, kind of in line with what Tate was saying, like, about, like, determined to, like, get to, like, the bottom of whatever's happening and do whatever they can. And still pretty unsettled, because it's a pretty hard thing to get out of your head. But gonna try to commit to this little side quest and figure out what's going on.
During commitment night?
They said the title of the movie.
Another heist, you guys! So many heists.
Yeah, and I know, what a group for a heist. 2 people in heavy armor. No.
Medium armor, excuse
Medium.
you.
There you go. I know. A very, very heisty group. But yeah, rounding it back out, anything else to add, Teddy, as these kind of fireworks are dying down with your thoughts and feelings?
I think there was a part of him that was very much dreading talking to Jaden just then. I think the big reason why he hasn't told him much before is because, like, again, like, not really a good time or place to do it, but I think even just opening up a little bit that there is something bigger going on is a huge weight off his chest, that he doesn't have to, like, hide stuff, and that Jaden is okay being in the dark at least a little bit longer. It makes him feel less lousy for not telling him anything.
Yeah.
So I think that, like, you know, I think he's feeling that somber feeling, but similar to Marigold, I think there's an air of determination, kind of that set your jaw, square up your shoulders, and, like, we're gonna go and get this done.
Yeah. As the fireworks kind of die off, you hear the big grand finale, and then the 1 or 2 last pops of the firework. A big cheer goes up from the crowd. Music picks back up, and this has moved into phase 3 of the night, which is get as drunk as possible until they kick you out for most of the volunteers, moving into the rest of the evening. And yeah, as you all kind of gather, like roughly where the evidence vault is. It's back in the like main long hallway, and then down, you assume somewhere down beneath the schoolhouse. You haven't actually been there, as you are first years who've been in the volunteer force for 2 whole months, haven't really had anything to put there, or if you do, you are not the ones who put it there. It would be a lieutenant. So yeah, what's the plan?
Marigold is gonna turn invisible.
All right. Yenros sees Marigold turn invisible. Is like, an approving nod.
It's just like the little gif that I sent where the squid turns like clear. It's like that.
Yeah. She's like,
That's so cool.
It's so cool.
I'll send the gif again because it's so cute.
Okay.
I don't know if I want to turn into a spider just yet, because if I do, then I can't use my spore form later on if we get into a combat, which I'm sure we will. I'm not sure we will. That's what's scary about it.
Yeah.
How long does your invisibility last?
It lasts an hour.
Okay.
I don't have anything for stealth and besides Xanthi's birthday present. And abilities that I haven't disclosed to some people.
Some people in the party, yeah, present company. Yeah.
So I guess just stealth and
You see Yanros is like,
doing
alright, so plan, just be sneaky or anything more?
– Sneaky?
yeah.
We're gonna-
I could use my mirror again to look around the corners like we did.
Once we get in there, I mean, I can detect magic. See if there's anything interesting.
Yeah, same. I can set up alarm somewhere. Should someone keep watch, or
I mean, do we even know where this vault is? I think that should be our first.
We do, right? We know it.
You know generally where it is.
Okay.
You know, like the door that leads to the like basement level where the vault is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perhaps, yes, sending somebody to at least take a look around. Maybe Marigold can go as you're invisible. He's like definitely talking in the wrong direction of like where she is.
Teddy, I haven't moved yet.
Sorry, I that makes sense. If you'd
Yeah,
be willing
I
to
can.
go down that hallway perhaps and just see.
Yeah, I don't mind.
I'm assuming we'll need a key of some kind or a way of opening the door.
We can just like lockpick it.
That's true.
Okay.
Right.
Seems easy enough to me.
Would it help to have some kind of diversion? I mean, the party's getting quite raucous, so I imagine that that's diversion enough, but
I don't have any ideas.
Well, maybe we go and. I mean, I honestly think this is a pretty good distraction, and not to be, you know, make light of it, but the situation that occurred also probably a pretty good distraction for the commander and whoever else. They're probably deep in discussion somewhere about that, dealing with the aftermath of,
Yeah.
you know, all of that. So probably the best opportunity we could get.
okay. I think maybe we just go for it.
Alright. Yeah. You all kind of head out towards the head out towards where you know roughly the vault is. Give me those stealth checks as you're trying to like not just be quiet but be like discreet, like being like, oh hey, to like people in the hallway, like, oh, you know, nothing to see here, just go a casual outing.
I just realized that Xanthi gave no explanation for Yanros.
No, Yenros heard you want to break into something, and Yenros was like, yes, as a matter of fact.
I'm gonna use a savvy point.
Alright.
Okay. Oh wait,
I
no, I
rolled-
have disadvantage on stealth. Damn.
I rolled okay. I just got a 14.
14.
A 15.
15.
I rolled 2 15s.
Hey, not bad. There you go. For a 15.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I actually think I have, shockingly, a +2 to stealth because of
Wow.
my dex. So actually a 17,
17, there
with
you
my
go.
scale armor.
Wow.
Meg, you're anonymous.
That'll never happen again.
I should know.
Wait, sorry, what am I?
A python.
Ooh.
Also, what did you get, Hayes?
I'm gonna also use a savvy point. It's not gonna do anything well. Yep, that's a 6 total because it's better than a 2
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
for the rounding up probably. If we're doing
Yeah.
a group roll or individual.
You'll find out. As you all head towards, the vault, down the stairs, starting to, make sure you're checking around corners. And as you kind of peer around the corner that roughly leads to the vault, you realize, as you're peering around, you hear voices, and you see that there actually isn't anything to pick because the vault has been blown open, and there's just rubble in front of it. You see several other senior volunteers. You see Lieutenant Arlen standing there, the mage Xanthi that you had seen earlier. They're in conversation. But then you hear from a little bit off to the side, you just hear, this is a very interesting group together. What are you all doing? As you turn and see that Lydia is standing there, clocking all of you, peering around the corner, trying to break into this, with Yenros, who just goes, fuck. And
Marigold is still invisible.
And Marigold's invisible.
Marigold is gonna just be as quiet as possible and hope that with everyone else making a commotion, she will go by unseen.
But we will take a quick break right there, and then come back.
Trying to think of it.
Yeah. So, as you see, and we'll say, I will say, Yenro said "fuck" quietly enough that Xanthi, you heard it,
okay.
but he didn't scream it. He was just that's gonna complicate things. In addition to the door being exploded, this is now not really a heist. I don't know what it is, but it's not breaking and entering. You see Lialia is so I am counting 4 of you, but it appears one is missing. Where is Marigold?
That's sort of what we were looking for. We haven't... Has she come by here at all?
Go ahead and roll me that deception check. Marigold,
I'm so
are you
sorry.
doing anything while this happens, or are you just standing in the hallway quietly?
Right now, I am standing as still as a stone.
Mhm.
And maybe once the conversation, moves, or maybe they move, I can start sneaking down this hallway.
I'm using a second savvy point. My roll wasn't bad. I just am scared. 22. Sorry, I was away from my microphone. 22.
So, I rolled a nat 20. And
Sorry, microphone.
Lialia is so I am going to be extremely real with you. I know Marigold is a sorcerer and can turn invisible, and if she walks down that hallway in approximately 5 feet from the door, her invisibility will break, and that will cause a lot of problems for all of us. So, if Marigold is anywhere near here, I suggest she comes back towards me.
Marigold is gonna make note of that and continue to stay still. Because if Lialia can't see me, then I can't get in trouble.
Okay. Uh-huh.
All right.
Yeah.
We tried
Is invisibility in every sorcerer thing, actually? Is
No,
that
it's
just
not. It's something that Marigold was born being able to do, actually, because she is part squid. I'm kidding. The inspiration of her shadow touch magic is a jellyfish.
I see.
How many people were by the door besides the mage?
3 or 4. It was Lieutenant Arlen's also there, who is also a sorcerer. So another person with magic, the mage, and then like 2 or 3 senior volunteers who are like moving in and out of the door, like dealing with the fact that something exploded in the evidence vault, and they are now like cleaning it up. And like, this is the most eventful night for the senior volunteers who thought they were just gonna have to look after some drunk like junior volunteers, and now they're like, someone's dead, an attack happened and something exploded, and they're not having a good time. But yeah. So what are you doing down here?
Anyone else can tap in at any point.
Okay, so this relates directly to our investigation. And so we need to investigate.
Yes, so this is probably not the best time to investigate. As you can see, there is already an investigation happening.
They don't know what we know.
Yes, and you don't know what they know. So, we are at an impasse, are we not?
Well, that just seems silly then, doesn't it? That they don't know what we know, we don't know what they know. It just seems very inefficient.
That you are first years, and you think that you would know more than the lieutenants and the Marat Society? Yes, it does seem a bit foolish.
I mean, do they know that the Forsaken's reign is returning?
Just hear from the ether.
Marigold
Have you
doesn't
heard
know,
of
that was
Have you
me.
heard of the Forsaken?
Not know more, just know differently.
Let's see. At this point, Yenros is just like looking at back and forth and like, what the fuck is going on? There's something happening.
An investigation.
Yeah. You see, Lialia. Yeah, Lialia's like, I know that you all are investigating things of your own, but perhaps tonight is not the night to be looking for the answers. And we can have this conversation later, after some things have been uncovered. Yes?
Yes, Lieutenant.
How long is the hallway?
20 feet. There's like a main hallway, and then like there's like a main hallway, and then a branch off, and the branch off down that hallway is where the vault is, and Lialia basically like caught you in the group of you in the main hallway, and you stepped into the little hallway that branches off. So you were like between the group that's like in at the T and the mage and everyone else who's at that far end of the evidence vault.
Okay. And does there happen to be, I don't know, 2 feet of rock or 2 inches of metal between me and the Maru Society lady or Lieutenant Arlen?
No. The door is blasted open,
That
and
is
it is
so
just
awesome.
rock.
I'm going to use a sorcery point to subtle spell Detect Thoughts, because Detect Thoughts has a range of 30 feet.
They just pop into
So
existence.
Marigold just pops into existence,
Great.
but she's looking down the hallway, and for a minute, I want to bounce around some people's thoughts.
Yeah. So you pop back into the hallway, and you all see Marigold pop in, and then hear Lialia very clearly go, well, I guess we found where Marigold went after all. And now, Marigold, tell me whose brains you're bouncing around in, and if I have to make any saves or anything.
I'm just gonna do the surface level thoughts to start, because they know.
Yeah.
I need to read the like specific writing if they know it's me specifically that's poking in their brain, or if they know it's someone else, or just know that someone is.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's gonna determine if I do anything more specific or not. But I definitely want the Mars Society mage first if I can tell that she's like there. I definitely
she's in
also
uniform,
think,
so you know she's a mage.
and then the sorcerer, since he is just in that area, and like looking at things more closely. And right now, like, I mean, Lealia just made that comment, like, that was oh, like, now we know where Marigold is. Marigold's gonna like poke into her thoughts a bit later, because her surface level thoughts might be like, oh, I knew Marigold was here.
Yeah,
somewhere.
Shock. The surface level thoughts are,
Shocking.
wow, shock.
And I think because this is like subtle spelled, like, I feel like the only thing that could be noticed about Marigold when she's casting this spell is maybe the shadows around her just get a little bit darker, but like that's it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll start with Lieutenant Arlen. So the, human with a blue dragonborn head is a sorcerer. And kind of his surface level thoughts seem to be very much directed about like just the paperwork and the everything that's going to have to go into like cataloging and cleaning up the fact that this explosion has like decimated a lot of their evidence locker, what that could mean for other things that were in there. It is very much bouncing around of someone who's just like, my night and honestly next like 2 weeks are gonna suck as I have to like deal with all the things that are in here. At surface level, you don't see that there's anything like specific he's like worried about or thinking of. It's just all generally there. You bounce over to the Marit Society mage, and you can tell that she kind of has a very conflicting kind of feelings. Surface level, one of them is a bit of like anxiety and confusion about the wards and why they didn't work. You can see that's still like occupying part of her brain, and that is not related to the vault, so to speak. She is more concerned about like, why didn't they work with everything? Like, why were those creatures able to get in? Why, like, what did it fail? Kind of like almost like someone running through mathematical calculations, but she's running through like magical calculations essentially. And then dealing with the vault specifically, she is kind of like a little miffed about the fact that she's like, this is why we take the magical items, because we have the stuff that can keep them from exploding, and like basically is just there to make sure. She's like thinking like checking for any instability in anything else that was there, like so you don't get a chain reaction of shit just exploding. And that's like the two splits for her thoughts. Chain reaction, don't let things explode, and still really like, what went wrong with those wards? They were perfect. And then bouncing over to Lealia, there's just like a never-ending string of just like, why, fuck, curse, fuck, why? This group, I should have told Xanthi off when I made eye contact. And then very much you can see trying to run through, like, keep them out of trouble as you apparate in the middle of a hallway from being invisible. And that's what you get in a quick bounce around. Everyone else, you turn and see that Marigold's now standing in the middle of the hallway.
I think Marigold looks at Lealia. It sounds to me like no one here actually knows what's going on.
Yes, what if we knew what was going on, there would not be an investigation happening. But I guarantee that you do not know what's going on. So, please, enlighten us as to what happened, Marigold.
Well, I think I'd be able to do a better job of that if I could see what was going on and do an investigation.
You are going to have to roll the highest persuasion check, because at this point you all have pushed your luck so much already being here.
Is just being so sassy right now. Come on, girl. I believe in you. That's the same number. I rolled really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Comically bad. Yeah.
Great. What was it?
I think it's a 7. Let me check the modifier though. I'm like, I wish I had inspiration because I rolled a 3 on the dice. That's a 7. I mean, Marigold isn't really trying to be persuasive. I think she is just being sassy because Lealia's like, the first years don't know anything, and Marigold's like, well, I don't think you know anything either.
And Lealia's like, all right, that is enough. Let's go now, all of you, upstairs. Yenros, and you see Yenros is like, like he hasn't done shit the entire time, other than be here with you all. It's like, she's like, you go too before I tell Lieutenant Reichmere, huh? Upstairs, now.
I have a question before we leave.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, like, so I was looking at the wording of the spell for detect thoughts, and it says that, like, so I can probe deeper into someone's thoughts, and the target has to make a wisdom saving throw, and regardless of whether they succeed or fail, it says the target knows that you are probing into its mind, and unless you shift your attention to another creature's thoughts, the creature can use its action on the turn to make an intelligence check contested by your intelligence check. If it succeeds, the spell ends. And I'm wondering, when it says you, is it talking like in a more explanatory way, or does it mean like, oh, this person knows that Marigold Beck is the one probing in their mind?
It would be you. I feel like it is very much like you get the essence, or like you feel the presence of a person, and because they have to be within sight, like it's very much like that.
Oh, you don't have to be within sight.
Okay,
you just have to be within 30 feet.
I'm still saying they put you on there. It's a first level. Well, it's like a first or second.
It's
level
a second
spell.
level.
It's not powerful enough to be able to probe someone's mind, and they don't know that you're doing it.
Okay, so they would know.
They would
that
know
it
it's
was me
you.
specifically.
Yes.
Okay. Cool. I just wanted to clarify in case I ever use that spell in the future. I am not.
In case I do it right now in 3 seconds.
I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
But that doesn't sound like a good idea, so I'm not gonna do it unless I do it to Lealia. I mean, she'd just get more mad at me. That's
probably.
I think she doesn't want me to get in trouble. So.
She doesn't want you to get in trouble with them. Getting in trouble with her, though, very different.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Okay. So Lealia is like basically upstairs now, all of you, and you see at this point enough commotion has happened that Lieutenant Arlen and the mage both kind of look over at Lealia and this gaggle of first years, and Lealia just holds up her hand and she's like, "Don't worry, Arlen, I'll take care of it." Now upstairs, and starts to walk, assuming you all will follow.
Yeah.
Follow.
Yeah.
Rumbling under her breath.
Just
She's like,
obey. Just obey the scary monk lady? No.
This makes more sense if we all shared information, but no.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you hear that Yenros just kind of lean over to you. Xanthine's like, so that didn't go well, I don't think, actually. But next time? And follows you all back upstairs to, like, outside the, like, one of the hallways. You can hear like, the revelry of people. It's getting very rowdy now, and like, I'd say more than half of the people that had attended have already left, and now it's just the people who are either the senior volunteers who are dealing with a lot tonight, in addition to a bunch of, like, third years who are just getting, crazy drunk and running around the area being hooligans. You see Lealia kind of turns to Yenros and is like, so I suggest you make yourself scarce now while I deal with my cohort. And he's like, yes, ma'am. And Yenros dips. Absolutely is getting the fuck out of there. Does not want anything to deal with Lealia and you all. So she kind of takes a second. So,
Well, I'm not sorry. Xanthi.
What is going on?
well, if, as you saw, something exploded that was in the vault,
Why do we have a vault of explosives?
it was not supposed to be an explosive, at least that is not what it was originally catalogued as, but as is often the case with Magitech, especially things that we have not seen before, we do not always know what they can do. So I am sure
Also-
Lieutenant Farhan will be incredibly upset to hear that it is exploded and is no longer able to study.
Also, the wards are supposed to be working.
You see, she like shifts her eyes and then like, but to you and then to Xanthi and then just is like, yes, well, yes, that I honestly cannot talk to more. Not a mage, and we work with the Marat Society to ward some of our buildings. It would not do for creatures to be able to apparate into our schoolhouse in the middle of people sleeping or studying. But yes, apparently they are not working, and the Marat Society is on it, whatever that means.
In the meantime, I've shifted some sorcery points and spell slots around.
Okay.
My
Great.
favorite pastime.
Wonderful. You see it just like with an abacus, just like
Yeah,
spell
Marigold
slots.
just in the corner.
Look like?
Yeah, I don't know. Marigold's just like tracing things out on your hand.
I've never thought about it.
I feel like it's something like writing it out on your like counting or like writing. I don't know. I feel like it's
That's
got to
too
be
much
something.
math for a sorcerer.
But it's not
She's
math.
just a girl.
It's not math.
She's
It's like
just a
it's like
girl.
feeling. It's like, you know, shifting around like the energy in your body between leveled spells and sorcery
Her
points.
mage hand turns into an abacus.
You all really don't know how to just party, do you? Always working? Know the feeling.
I mean,
Someone
it's kind of hard when
died.
things keep attacking you while you're trying to just live your life.
Yeah.
That is true.
Hard to party after you've seen someone actively dying and then learn the fate of that.
I don't know if she would know what's going on out there.
Ooh.
Because she's been dealing with one instance of events all night. She keeps rolling well. You see, she doesn't know what you're talking about specifically, but gets the sentiment that something else has probably gone on, because things, you see, she's like, well, things never just happen in one, do they? So...
Where did that cylinder thing come from? If it's an artifact, if it was found, where
What was it
found?
logged as? You said it wasn't logged as an explosive. What was it logged as?
Persuasion. That both of you. Roll me a persuasion, please.
Persuasion.
Persuasion. She just breaks the fourth wall and is like, roll me a persuasion. Roll persuasion.
Oh, I'm good at persuasion.
Yeah, Teddy's a yapper.
He's a yapper. Loves to yap.
I got a
natural
13.
20
Oh, yes!
for
Yeah.
24.
24. Teddy, did you ask where it came from?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, where was it found? Kind of implying, like, why is it here of all places?
Yeah. You see,
But I don't know.
20, still a good roll, but still some things she will not say, so she just goes, it was not found in Old Haven. It was found south of here on a expedition. It was logged, I believe. Farhan said a battery, whatever. A power source, not a power source, I guess, perhaps. So.
Maybe an arcane battery?
Well, it's definitely housed a lot of power, so I'm not sure what else it would be. As batteries don't really exist in this world, so there's really kind of only one thing that could house that much potential energy. It would be magic.
An arcane battery explosion.
I wasn't the only one that was there, though.
Are you saying this out loud to Lydia?
Yeah.
She's like, well, it is good to see that you used that key well, But, truthfully, I do not know more. So, it is not part of my jurisdiction. I was not in charge of the volunteers that were there, and I only have what I was caught up with tonight between Lieutenant Arlen and the Marat Society mage.
Can I insight that?
Yeah.
Ah, it's cocked. Okay, my insight is a 23.
23. Yeah. You see that she's telling the truth. She really learned most about everything with this tonight, and hasn't read any of the reports or anything that you all actually have.
So we really do know more than her.
Her, maybe.
Yeah.
Someone else there? The mage? Maybe not. But it is exploded. There is a mess to clean up. And as far as we're aware, the mage says that nothing else in the vault will explode, so for all purposes, that is the end of it for now.
Lydia, do you know about planar corruption?
We talked to her about this before.
Teddy asked about this once upon a time. It was after class, though.
Yeah.
Might be, I don't remember.
She said that it's like an old term.
Okay, then Marigold wouldn't ask that question. I just forgot that we talked
Well,
about
it happened after class. Teddy one-on-one conversation with her. So.
Okay, then Marigold doesn't know.
Yeah. You see, she goes, yes, it is something that I have heard floating around. It is not super common. I have never seen it, so.
You're lucky.
Teddy with the one-liners tonight about everything. You're lucky. She's like, okay. Yes, I imagine so from what I have heard, but no. Why?
Well, you might be about to.
Kind of going on right now.
Oh.
Upstairs. Or I guess we're already upstairs.
Outside. She's like,
yeah, in the tent.
Well, and you see now she pulls out the the tablet and her tablet and sees like rereads the message reads the message for the first time that you had sent Hayes, asking if she knew where Lieutenant Reichmere was, and is like, is that what this was about then?
Yeah.
Well, if anyone could handle it, it would be Lieutenant Reichmere. He is the most magically inclined with healing among us in Old Haven, so.
Yeah. This wasn't enough.
Well, that is certainly concerning.
That's why we're trying to investigate what we can.
So really, tell me, what did 4 first years think that they could do that the highest healer in Old Haven couldn't do, and the lead abjurer for the Marat Society in Old Haven couldn't uncover underneath with the explosion? What is it that you are all trying to do? I get that you are curious, but are you also competent?
Not more so than those, but of course they have their qualifications and they are more qualified than us, but can just sit around and do nothing.
I mean, we have come across some very interesting information, and we might be able to figure something out by connecting those dots. I'm not sure if everyone has this information.
You see, she kind of takes a second. I understand. You are eager. You want to protect people, change the world, yes. And it is admirable. But sometimes you just are not powerful enough to yet. So, don't do the obvious things. There will be a dozen mages here over the next week looking at what is down there. There will be probably a multitude of healers if what you said is true about the planar corruption. They will go about it in all the traditional ways. Perhaps you try something different.
Like what?
You see, Lydia kind of laughs and gets like a little bit. Lydia gets like a little bit sad at like the what. It's like, truthfully, I'm not the one to give you any suggestions. I have been with the volunteers long enough now that I do the traditional. Kinda lost that spark, that hopefulness that you get when you're just starting out, huh?
That feels like an excuse, Lieutenant. I know my mom was never like that.
Perhaps. Perhaps it is an excuse.
Well, regardless, I am going to become more powerful, and I am going to figure this out. It's disappointing that you can't do the same.
Good evening, everyone. And you see Lydia walks back towards the vault down the stairs.
Marigold starts to walk off in the opposite direction. I don't know.
just splits, yeah.
Going back to the party, but not following wherever Lydia's
Yeah,
going, because I don't remember where you just said she was headed.
She went back to the vault to like continue doing
Oh, okay.
her job.
I guess Marigold would take the other way.
Yeah.
Outside to the party.
Yeah. Marigold, you head back out into the party, kind of the rest of your group also. Just taking a moment with everything that transpired. And as you head back into the party, Marigold, you see people celebrating, drinking, laughing with friends. You can kind of see the band playing, really getting into it now of just like playing whatever, playing upbeat, fun music, people dancing together. You look over and you do catch Zarius and Crusher kind of sharing a laugh for a moment of whatever they're talking about. And as
They're
you
bonding!
and as you see this, the rest of you also can just see like into the courtyard and the surrounding area. And you kind of have this moment about, you know, this grand celebration that you had tonight. Kind of, is it all a show just to kind of, you know, mask all the cracks that are in society? Or is it a brief moment of joy to be found in the world that is all too cruel? Kind of seeing Lydia walk off, not proud of herself, of where she is and what she's doing, and recognizing she's kind of become part of the system that she at one time was so disillusioned by, and maybe still is. What are the rest of you doing, feeling, as you can see that commitment night is starting to wrap up, and there's going to be a lot of things going on behind the scenes as events unfolded.
I think Teddy would like to check in with Hayes. Both because of everything with Shinzo, but also, like, Hayes super looks up to Lialia. Like, getting kind of a stern talking to from, like, someone that you admire a lot, like, probably doesn't feel very good. So I think it's just gonna kind of say, how are you holding up?
I'll get better. Can't really think about anything right now. I'm sure that she has her reasons for things, but I promise to commit myself, and I'm gonna find a way to do that. We'll figure things out.
We will. One way or another, we will. Where's Yenrose going?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say, so Teddy and Hayes, you have this conversation. Marigold, you said you headed towards Zarius, essentially.
Yeah.
Xanthi, you see that Yenros kind of hands in his pocket, swings around from like a pillar that he was standing behind. Definitely heard the entire conversation between you all and Lialia, because, you know, much like you all, he only listens halfway when told to do something. And just kind of goes up to Xanthi, is like, well, seems like things are not going well with the top of the class, are they?
I'm just annoyed everyone is just always lying and hiding things, and I just don't understand.
I mean, I hate liars. If you're going to lie, at least do it well. Then no one knows you're lying.
Well, yeah, that tracks. She'll look at him and be like, yeah, that tracks with what I know about you. I just thought it was going to be different.
Well, what are y'all gonna do next? I heard Lealia basically gave you free reign to do whatever. Outside of going to the places that are obviously being looked at. So,
Like, cock her head to the side. She had not considered this. Like, okay. But I don't even know where else.
I'd love to give suggestions, but I actually don't fully know what you're investigating or what's going on, so...
That's fair. Yeah, sorry. I mean, I just thought you'd like to break into something.
I really was looking forward to it, but it was already broken into. Well, broken out of, more so.
Yeah. That battery. Just... everywhere I look, there's a cover-up.
Let me see. I guess Yenros didn't see the battery because he had his back turned.
Yeah.
And he wasn't there when you described it. So maybe he'll just ask. Like, battery. What?
Like,
Battery.
Like, and she'll, like, gesture and, like, describe what they, like, the broken one that they held up. And then, like, start, like, just literally rambling stream of conscious style about, like, what the, like, the connections she's making between what, Rakesh had described back at, the underground base where they recovered it from.
You see, Yenros goes, well, I mean, it sounds... Well, yeah, that's more so what I've seen before, is one that's large.
Wait. Seen one? You've seen a large one?
Yes, the kind of agricultural platforms that are within comfort. A lot of them are powered by what I would probably describe looking exactly like that. But again, those are massive, not the size of whatever you say Lieutenant Lealia was holding.
Do they have, like, do they have special, like, docks or ports, or do they have to be handled carefully, or they just, like, are they volatile?
Maybe. I've only really seen one once and took a wrong turn down a corridor. If I said I was looking for a bathroom, I'd be lying. I was looking for something else. But they are usually pretty carefully monitored by the Marat Society mages that are out in comfort. So I would imagine they probably could explode pretty well. If that little one is anything to go by, what it did.
Well, that's interesting. Well, we're not getting in the vault.
Seems that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know where to go from here. I guess I should just take Liali's advice and just call it a night.
Honestly, sleep kind of sounds good. I don't know. So, it is getting late. Well, considering my room's upstairs. I don't know if you heard that sneeze that Z just did so loud. You're so loud.
I thought it was Bingley.
Yeah, Yenris is like, considering my room's just upstairs, I think I'll head there for the night, so.
Well, thanks for trying to help us break in.
Sure. Well, if you ever need help breaking in somewhere else again, hope you'll call.
Yeah, honestly, I feel like that's probably likely to happen, so...
It did seem to be going that way.
Okay. Well, good night.
Good night.
She'll give like a half-hearted wave as she like kind of drags her feet and goes back.
Oh.
Yeah. As the party is kind of wrapping up, what is the party doing?
Marigold, she goes over to Zarius and Crusher, and she says, Zarius, I think I'm ready to go home now. Are you?
Oh, good. Yeah, I mean, yes. That sounds nice.
So much.
Yeah, Marigold will grab his hand and escort them out.
Yeah.
Probably say goodnight to Crusher on the way.
Yeah, Crusher's like, have a good night. Good night, little bro. Even and Zarius is like, good night, Crusher.
It's official. It's official now.
Welcome to the family.
Yeah.
There is family part 2.
What eclectic family. Crusher, Verity, Thora, and now Zarius.
He fits in like so well.
He does.
Honestly, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so Marigold's starting to head home. Are you gathering the rest of the group as well, or is the rest of the group looking to also leave? What's going on?
I know Marigold's ready to leave, and she knew that Zarius was also ready to leave, so she's just leaving.
All right.
'Cause she wasn't sure if the others like had more things they wanted to do.
Yeah. All right, so
Do we want to do the thing in the chat or save that for the future?
If we want to do that now, I mean, Teddy would want to, if the party is winding down, he would want to find Jaden and just kind of do a little check-in before anything drastic happens.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Offer to walk him home.
Yeah, you see Jaden's there. He's definitely had a couple drinks, not to the point where like he's drunk, but he's definitely like, Teddy, what's going on?
Jaden.
Did it go
How
well?
has-
Whatever it was you did?
In a different way, I suppose. But
Oh, okay.
all finished now, I suppose. I'm sorry about tonight.
What for?
I was not a very good date.
Oh, I don't know. We got to fight something. There was free food. You looked great. I don't know. I think that was pretty good date to me.
I still owe you that dance sometime. But it seems the band is packing up, so Can I walk you home?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds nice.
He's gonna just kind of like flag to the others, like, I'm gonna go, you know. If we want to like meet up and do the thing in the chat, then we absolutely can. It's just gonna be like a late night if people are okay with that.
Yeah.
Or we can do it after the exam.
What is
Really
the thing? Which thing in the chat are we trying to do?
The voice chat or the private chat?
Do you have a chat without me? That's so rude. Excuse you.
Every
We're
player
plotters and
is-
schemers. Sorry.
You also schemed in the main chat, though, as well.
I forgot about
We
that.
are big time plotters and schemers.
Um,
There are like 10
I will also say,
chats in the
yeah, I'll also say, because I see what was in the general chat,
mhm.
Oh, you have your
Yenros,
notifications on?
Yenros said, no, I don't. I just open it every once in a while. Yenros said comfort, not little comfort, just to make
Does
sure that.
Little Comfort not have agriculture happening there?
So little comfort is just what, basically like the villa of, is what they called it, because it had very similar architecture. There could be
see.
underground, you don't know, but from like the general
I think I
thing,
misunderstood.
Yeah.
I thought that Little Comfort
No.
was like a neighborhood or whatever. Got it. Okay, never mind.
Three Gardens is like the agricultural neighborhood. There is no agricultural platforms. Xanthi would be the only one who really knows. They are like massive domes of agriculture, multi-tiered, like passed through them in comfort. It immediately makes sense when Yenros is like, yeah, they're powered by a giant battery that is arcane. There's like smaller things that are used outside of Tratus, Lumen, Old Haven, but you're not entirely sure how those are powered because you never thought to look. You grew up and you're like, I don't know, that it works. It's magic. It does some stuff, So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, alright. So Teddy is flagging to the group that he's going to walk Jaden home. Marigold has left. And Hayes, you see that Xanthi is just pulled away from a conversation with Yenros, who kind of like gives a little nod to you specifically, Hayes, as they leave.
Weird.
That's Yenros.
It's weird.
Yeah. Give a nod back, I guess.
Sweet, yep. But yeah, the two of you are left as the party's winding down.
Best friends. Did you just become best friends? I think you did.
Is this something Xanthi is saying?
That's what Sarah's saying.
Oh. Yep, we did.
Yeah.
Fae friends.
You.
Yeah. Is there anything you're wanting to do here while the party's wrapping up, or anywhere else? Kind of just head home.
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Let's go. Let's hit it.
Yeah. Teddy, you have a nice walk with Jaden, who basically fills you in on all the like gossip of the entire first, second, and third years. Somehow Jaden had managed to chat with everyone. You're now wondering if this man's actually a bard and not a fighter, because he seemed to be able to have conversations the entire night, even though there was a fight in the middle of it. And you have a pleasant walk home. It's, pretty warm out, getting closer to the start of summer. And yeah, Jaden gives you kind of a hug as you bring him home. And you see that Jane goes, well, that was fun, and I'm sure that we'll find time to dance. It's, summer's coming. There's going to be parties all the time, right? So.
All the time. And there's I can't remember if we've invited Jaden yet. This is not necessarily relevant to the dance, but inviting him to the party, the secret
I think so.
party. Okay. Um,
Yes,
Yeah,
the secret
he's
party.
the secret party.
Mhm.
If he hasn't, then he'll do that now.
Cool. Yeah, and Jaden's like, yeah, I'm totally there. I'll be there. That sounds great. I'll bring beer and wine.
Great.
So sweet.
You remember the nice like such a good dude. I love this guy.
Good catch, Teddy.
He's like, all right, good night, Teddy.
Good night, Jaden. Oh. Give a little,
little
wave
wave.
him inside,
Yeah.
and then go home.
Yeah. Yeah, Marigold, you walk home in a comfortable silence with Zarius. You see that you can kind of see Zarius relax the further you get from the schoolhouse and the commotion, and like a big shaky breath as you all basically cross into Ivy Walk and get closer to home. And as you approach the villa, Zarius is like, thank you for inviting me.
I mean, did you have fun? I feel like I wasn't around as much as I should have been.
No, it's okay. I know that you volunteers are busy and have lots to do, so I did enjoy getting out. I don't really leave the villa much, or at least haven't the past few months, so it was perhaps a big step to go see that many people after only seeing the four of you mostly. If we do it again, perhaps somewhere less rowdy could be nice.
I think so too. I'm glad you got to take such a big step. Shoot, I think there's something else that I had to say, but I am blanking on what it was. That is really annoying. And you even got to make some new friends.
That is true. Crusher did ask me to name every star in the sky tonight, and it did take me 10 minutes of telling him the ones I do know, but that's not all of them, before he believed me. So
I don't know Crusher super well, but that does sound like something that he would do.
yes, a most forward individual he is.
I think that is refreshing, though.
True. Most people have their secrets and like to keep them close.
Marigold said that, and she's like, I'm kind of feeling like a little bit of a hypocrite right now.
Yeah, are you?
Just a little bit, just a smidge.
Caesarus is like, well, I do think I will retire for the evening, and perhaps the next few days as well.
Oh, of course. Well, I'll make sure to leave food out for you. You know where to find it.
Thank you, Marigold.
You're welcome. And then as he walks away, she's going to look at Olive and be like, keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Yeah, he splits and goes to the main house as you head home. And yeah, Xanthi and Hayes, any conversations you two are having as you walk back to the villa? You all kind of arrive staggered from each other. Probably Marigold, Xanthi, and Hayes, and then Teddy last, as he had to go trekking throughout Old Haven tonight.
This is the same group of 3, like, separation that's happened before.
It's crazy. At least once, if not 3 times.
Crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. I did say the next time it happened, but hey.
Yeah, I don't know what conversation could be happening. I just kind of been thinking about their dad a bit, because like Wards is like his whole thing. He's like the head observer in like Lumen. Is he gonna be one of the mages that's gonna like come check it out? Should she text him? Not text, because it doesn't have that capability. Maybe like lightly bouncing some like thoughts about that off to Xanthi.
I think like Xanthi briefly goes off on a tangent about how it won't be a problem once she knows that there's magic for communication via long distances, and like once she figures that out, they're just gonna be set and they can just talk to like whoever they want. She talks
Xanthi,
briefly.
pray to your goddess right now.
Yeah.
Xanthi, get going.
Right.
You gotta level up, girl. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. She's like, I'll have us all set, and then I'm gonna talk to my family, and then she just starts going off about like who she's gonna talk to once she has that ability. And she's like, hold on, let me just check just to make sure. And she'll just quickly do a prayer on the way home, like as she's walking, full on like continues walking but closes her eyes. She just do a brief check just to make sure she didn't suddenly get gifted that ability.
Yeah, give me a religion check. Religion check.
Any chance I could have that now? Oh my god, it was bound to happen eventually, that I rolled poorly on a religion. That was a 9.
I love that 9 is Sarah rolling poorly. Sarah's like, I rolled 1 below average. Sue me. It's so bad.
10, 11, 12. That's for a total of 13.
Oh no, roll so bad.
Well,
yeah. Well, it wasn't,
it's religion,
yeah.
she's a cleric.
9's not going to give you anything spectacular. Yeah, you feel like you had a nice chat, though. Or a nice little moment with your prayer.
She's just always listening. But not in a creepy way.
One's always watching, the other's always listening. Got the whole thing covered between the two.
Yeah. You know?
Yeah.
Creepy void entity. So it's all
I mean,
cool.
what about? Do you think Erwin might know?
No.
So, what you're thinking
She
of?
thinks about it for a second and immediately kind of like freezes.
Ooh. The implications of if he did know this whole time and didn't. Oh no.
Don't mind me just Googling sending.
And I think she probably doesn't say much. Kind of past that point. She probably does not answer. And just kind of looks like thoughtful and like maybe a little like troubled or a little sad, maybe.
Oh. I mean, I'm sure he doesn't, because if he did, you know. So he must not.
She does look over at Hayes at that and just kind of gives her a look like, really? But appreciates the sentiment.
All right. As
I don't
you
think Hayes
all
knows what to say after that, so
Yeah.
probably silent.
as you all get back to the Malraki villa and, get ready for the evening. It's a little after midnight. Is anyone doing anything else other than like just getting ready and going to bed? You all do have an exam bright and early. Well, not that early. I think it's at like 9 tomorrow morning. So they let you sleep in a little bit
Not that early?
on a Saturday. Hey, this is if
9 is
I
early.
was a responsible adult. 9, so late on a Saturday. Who could even? But yeah, anyone doing anything else before bed, or just kind of a lot of thoughts and feelings have been occurring this evening. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Marigold has something that she is gonna do. So as soon as she leaves, like as soon as Zaria starts to walk away and she like motions to Olive like, hey, go look after him. She like turns back towards the guest house, and I feel like her like calm like smile just like kind of drops. It was kind of fake. And she walks over to the pool.
everyone has gotten back to the villa at staggering level arrival times. And Marigold, you had left Zarius to go recuperate for the next 3 to 5 business days in his house, as the introverted individual he is. And you headed to the pool.
Yeah.
Tell us what's going on there.
Yeah, I feel like on the walk back with Zarius, I feel like the shadows were just kind of clinging to her in a bit of an unnatural way, and the smile that she had when talking to him like was genuine at points, but a lot of the time was just like kind of fake to conceal like her real feelings. And as she's like walking and stands above the pool, I think she just feels like frustrated and a bit angry. She is upset about what happened with the attack and how she felt like that's like the only time I think she's ever felt defenseless in a way, because like while she did have a few tricks up her sleeve left, she wasn't sure how that would go using magic with these creatures and not being able to hurt them very effectively with her dagger and having to be rescued by Teddy and Hayes. I feel like is really bothering her because, if there are creatures out there that are immune to magic, how is she supposed to help her sister if she can't tackle every type of threat that's out there? She needs to become more powerful. And that's just kind of furthered by the conversations she had with Lealia, because Lealia like implied that they weren't strong enough, and she knows that they're not strong enough, so to be taken seriously and to actually get to the bottom of what's going on, clearly she has to get more powerful so that way she can be taken seriously and do investigating of her own, not necessarily because she like doubts the skills of the people who are in power, but more that she knows that her group has somehow ended up learning all of this information that it seems like the higher-ups either don't know about or they know about and aren't doing anything about. Like these strange merges, they don't know what's going on with them, and there doesn't seem to be much investigating about what those are and what kind of risk it could pose to the people in the free cities, even though Lealia knows about them and she hasn't told them. It doesn't sound like she's told anyone. She had them do undercover investigating about it, like something is going on, and this idea that like she needs to become stronger is just like echoing in the back of her mind. So she's going to jump and swim down to the bottom of the pool and she just like kind of closes her eyes and reaches out to the shadows at the bottom of the pool, remembering what Eider had said to her when she first met her in the water. I'm with you in every inky shadow. And she's going to see if she can reach out to her sister.
Yeah. Give me I've suddenly never heard of any checks in D&D before in my life. Reaching out to Eider. Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. That's good. That's a 19.
19. You kind of sit here on the bottom of the pool, having all these thoughts, reaching out to Eider, hearing a cat come from nowhere. What kind of
sea cat is there? Another.
That's Eider yelling, no. And as you sit there, you can see that another shadow joins. One that is not from the shadows you've cast, but you kind of feel it merge into your own shadows from the edges of the pool. And it feels like home, like there's an extra comfort, like an extra weight to the shadow holding you to the bottom of the pool, which for some would be an absolutely terrifying statement, but for a water genasi, that's not the case. But you don't hear any words or Eider's voice, but you are reassured in that moment that Eider is in every inky shadow.
Okay. I think Marigold is still gonna try to, like, because she has questions she wants to ask. She's still gonna, like, voice them, even if she doesn't get a response this time.
Mm-hmm.
Just like with the Forsaken, maybe she just hit the voicemail box and she'll
Someone
hear
needs
back
to-
from the
someone needs
Forsaken
to
in
clear
like 3 to
the
5
voice-
business days. It's funny.
Clear
I
the
think this is
voicemail
the
box.
same role that I got. Trying to talk to the Forsaken.
It was
the same number. Marigold says, I want to become more powerful, to become stronger to help you, but there are creatures that seem immune to magic, and I'm not sure how to defeat them using my arcane abilities. Do you know what I can do to help you?
Yeah, you hear no response and see no movement or feel anything different in the shadow or shadows.
Like, maybe I should have used a savvy point. I really did think about it to get over 20. Ugh. That's okay. Marigold, I think she just takes a deep breath. She's not gonna get, like, mad at her sister. She knows that, like, she's there and with her. And maybe this is, something that will just take a while. Maybe she needs to go back to the ocean for a stronger connection. So I think she just sits, like, with this comfortable feeling for a while before exiting the pool and going up to her room.
Yeah.
If Xanthi's there, she will see Marigold
soaking wet
in her fancy dress.
Yeah. Anyone doing anything else? I'd say, before, you all have to be up for your exam tomorrow.
How much sleep are the fungal fae getting?
Probably not much.
Yeah.
Teddy's gonna, I don't know how he's gonna do it. Hang on. He's gonna, I think, once he comes back and kind of gets ready for bed, I think he's gonna kind of, sit on the edge of his bed, kind of facing Hayes' side of the room, and just gonna say, if there's anything that you want to talk about, I'm here for you.
Thank you. I don't know much else that can be said. I'm sure that you're already kind of in touch with what I'm feeling. You know? I'm sure you can assume. I don't know. Just worried.
Yes. Do you think it would help to try and find a time to leave something by their office?
Maybe. What do you think?
My mother was always one for cards. Maybe if they're sort of being sequestered, something that they might not be able to get otherwise, perhaps some treats from that bakery down the street, or something along those lines. Make the waiting a little easier.
Good idea. Yeah.
I can
Maybe
think about it.
after. Yeah. After class tomorrow. Yeah. Thanks.
Good night, Hayes.
Good night.
And if you need anything, I'm just right over here.
Hey. Same.
He's gonna go over and give her a hug.
Oh, cute.
Good. Must have been a really
Cute.
hard night for them. So
That hug is also for Teddy. Don't-
a little bit. He's trying to not make it that way. I'm comforting them right now.
Yeah. No, yeah. He is absolutely fucking back because he needs it too. He saw someone die.
He didn't see them die. He
No.
saw them already dead.
Went in knowing that she was dying and then just sees her dead. That's awful.
Yeah.
Pretty horrific.
Honestly, I think Hayes saw the worst part because Hayes saw the active like branches coming out of the mouth and bones. Teddy just saw a sheet. Oh, technically, no one knows what Teddy saw. I forgot.
Yeah,
you'll,
sorry.
you'll
This
see
is a
it.
secret for
You'll
now.
see it later.
You'll hear it later. Hooray.
Yeah.
But yeah, all right. So the two of you kind of have a nice little roomy moment before trying to get some rest, knowing you have an exam tomorrow, and whatever else full week or full weekend. Lots to consider, lots to do. Xanthi, anything you're doing, or just kind of ruminating and reading and going to bed, or not even reading?
Yeah, I feel like she's not even like phased by Marigold being like, super wet. She's just like, Marigold is just sometimes
Wet.
wet. It's
what it
if
is.
she doesn't look particularly distressed, then she's just gonna be like, yeah, that checks out.
No, I think her just spending some quality time with her sister has helped mellow her out, and I'm thinking she would never be upset with her sister for not answering her
phone
because,
call.
like, it feels unfair to ask a person who's trapped for help to untrap them. It's not her fault that she's stuck somewhere, so can't be mad at her for not picking up the phone straight away.
There you go. True.
Yeah.
All right.
I think that, like, while trying to fall asleep, is thinking about how back home, whenever there was anything troubling going on, she and Aura would push their beds together and kind of, like, talk and be a little bit closer, and is missing that right now.
Yeah. As you all kind of have a lot of thoughts, feelings, emotions, a lot of things came out of commitment night and not the things you thought probably would. There's some good, there's some bad. Yenros gave information that could actually be actionable, which is possibly the worst thing that could come out of commitment night, is that Yenros did something useful for the party. But we will continue on to the next morning. It is Saturday. You all kind of gather yourself groggy because you had a few drinks, you were out late, you fought. There was a lot of emotional turmoil, and you got to be at the schoolhouse at 9 for that exam. So as you kind of go into the classroom, you see Lydia is acting, I wouldn't say like nothing has happened, but she is acting like herself, if that makes sense. Like, she is obviously like aware and not pretending that the conversation you all had didn't happen, but she is still continuing to be kind of her lieutenant self that she needs to be for everyone, getting the exams ready, still talking with people. And so with that, if y'all want to pull up Roll20, you got an exam to take at 11 o'clock at night. 9 in the morning or 11 o'clock at night, which is the worst time for an exam. And I do need to let it load. I swear the loading screens have gotten longer. Roll20.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about?
Funky time stuff.
Yeah,
probably.
funky time stuff with Roll20 for
Conspiracy.
sure. All right, and so yeah, if you all hop on over there, you see the exam get passed out. As always, open note, but send me your responses in the in a private message.
Yes, sir.
Locked in, I think. It'd be funny if I got them all wrong.
Locked in
for
wrong.
saying that. Yeah, that'd be
I
awesome.
literally don't know any of this.
Yeah, it's the exams getting tough. Also, I should have specified before Meg submitted this, the medicine check is not, or any of these things are not if you have feats, special features, whatever. These are very specifically what most people would be, but I don't think that makes a difference for what you said, Meg. But I don't know if your medic feat, you get something better for stabilizing. Is it like automatic?
That's a great question. Let me take a peek.
Teddy forgets his own abilities at 9 in the morning.
You double your proficiency bonus when you make checks with it. No, it's more for like short rest.
Okay.
Hit point reaccrual. And I guess like double proficiency when rolling it. So that's great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I have no idea about this last one. Oh, good.
Well, good thing it's multiple choice.
That makes it worse.
No.
They all sound right.
Let's see. Maybe I'll go. That seems too hard, but
Yeah, as you all are taking the exam, you see that half your classmates are like extremely hungover. The entire classroom smells like alcohol, and it is a rough time for.
Why did they
most.
schedule an exam right after this? This is crazy.
Yeah, they said, learn to be uncomfortable in adversity.
Alrighty.
All right. Sarah, you can't change your mind after sending me an answer.
You hadn't graded them yet.
Fine. Okay.
Turns it in, goes back.
Actually, Lally, I'm sorry.
Turns back around, grabs it.
All right, so. Wow, that's so loud.
Sorry.
So,
Seriously? I really
answers
thought I was
are-
gonna get in the 100.
Lialia reads them out. When attempting to escape a grapple, what physical action is taken? When you are escaping, it can be an athletics check or an acrobatics check. So that is answer C, A or B. How many levels of exhaustion can you take before death? The 6th level is death, meaning you can only
That's
take
so
5 levels of
sneaky.
exhaustion. Answer
Do
C.
I get extra credit for that?
And then
For
the
making
base
that note.
DC needed on a medicine check to stabilize someone is just a 10. It doesn't
I
bring
really
them back
thought
up.
it was a
but
15.
No, because it doesn't
Oh
bring
my
them back
God.
up. It just brings them to not dying anymore.
I'm so
So-
mad. I would have had an 100. I was debating that one.
So with that,
I looked
the
it up a
only
long time
person
ago.
to get 100 is Hayes.
Wow! Let's go, Rumi!
So, yeah.
Big
Congratulations
time
there.
doing the like
but-
Shinji meme in the corner.
Recording with the. with the
Yep.
exhaustion.
Trick question.
It was tricky.
Dastardly.
And with
I
that...
respect it.
I honestly thought that I was gonna get it wrong because of that. I was like, surely not.
But yeah, as you all kind of start to finish up, turn in your tests, get them back, and get the grades, still, I think the rest of you got at least 2 out of 3. And Hayes got 100, so not bad all around. Probably better than some of your classmates. You can tell, like, 2 of your classmates didn't show up at all, so they definitely got a 0 because they were too fucking hungover to even make it. And you, as you're all, like, getting ready to continue with the rest of your Saturday, you hear, like, a bit of a conversation in, like, the hallway of the schoolhouse. Someone be like, no way, like, really? No, let's go see. And then you hear someone else be like, yeah, like, out by the job board. There seems to be a commotion happening out by the job board.
I personally love commotions.
I want to go see.
Yeah,
We should
let's
see
go.
what it is.
Yeah.
Alex is Teddy's man.
You all finish turning your test and are like, do you want to go see the job board? Realize you actually haven't also looked at the job board the entire month of month 6. And a good portion maybe even of month 5. So it has been a while since you ventured by here.
You've been busy.
You have been. You've been busy. And as you kind of walk down the steps to the schoolhouse, the front steps of the schoolhouse, and into the kind of front lawn, you see that there's kind of a little bit of a crowd starting to gather because, again, all the first years are here, and when there's one crowd starting, there's more. And as you kind of move your way to the front of the job board, you see that everyone's kind of like at least 20 feet back from the job board, just kind of like talking to each other, not sure what to do. You see nearly 4 feet tall, this massive owl, sitting on top of the job board. You see that these kind of like curling ram's horns grow out of the top of its skull. Its feathers are various shades of black, gray, and white, with kind of a large red circle right beneath its beak, making it look like it has a giant open maw, like bloody maw. And the edges of its wings are also kind of tipped in red. And it just seems to be sitting on the job board, deep red eyes, like looking at everyone as they approach.
Guys, I have Speak with Animals prepared. I'm so excited.
Breathe.
I've been waiting for this moment.
But yeah, as you all kind of like move your way to the front of the crowd, and people let you by because they don't really know what's going on. No one's like, jiving to be the front row to this giant owl, 4-foot tall owl that's on top of your board. Yeah, 4 foot tall, the wings are folded in. You don't know, that wingspan's probably like triple that size. And as you all approach, Teddy, I'm gonna need you in the other chat.
Oh my gosh, no, the second time today! Help me. Bye!
I think it has something to do with the druid.
So I will say this, as you all step up there, you just see Teddy's next to you, and then just drops. And that is where you will see, when I come back, that is what you have all seen. I'll go join Teddy now.
There you go.
Okay. No, I know. I specifically had to tell them something and not you.
Oh! And you
now
need to get out of there.
Well, now I have to tell you something. It's a group party.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, Teddy, as you kind of turn or like move to the front and are like, I have to speak with animals. Like, I'm going to talk to this bird.
Heck yeah.
You see the bird kind of turns its head in like basically a 180, but this way, not this way, and kind of locks eyes with you. And you see the bird goes, "Good evening, Lockhart. Garrick is looking forward to meeting with you. He has returned. Do stop by at your earliest convenience, and I apologize for the commotion."
Is this something that I could bring my squad with?
Yes, of course. Garrick is always happy to have visitors.
Thank you very much. And what might I call you?
My name is Ib.
Ib. Well, thank you for the message, and we'll try and stop by today.
Wonderful. I do hope the ground was not too hard. And with that, we can jump back into the main chat.
What does that...
Oh,
Yeah.
All right. And so, Teddy.
Wait, did you say my dad?
Teddy, as you have that conversation, hear that last line and go like, what does that mean? You open your eyes on the ground with your whole group around you because you knocked out and fucking just collapsed to the ground.
Whenever he started to pass out, can I try to catch him, please?
Sure, yeah. You could, give me that dexterity check to try to catch Teddy.
Oh, it's a 7. Sorry, buddy.
That's okay.
Teddy's like on the other. Teddy's on the other side of both Xanthi and Marigold, and by the time you see him going down, like he's down.
Marigold has like a little rag or like a handkerchief or something, and it's soaked in like cold ink, and she's like dabbing your forehead, like very like, you know what I mean.
Did he just get like? Xanthi looks suspiciously at the giant owl. Like
as you look up, the giant owl has now does like a huge swoop and takes off. It's definitely like a fucking helicopter situation where you're like, oh god, wind, as this giant wingspan, and it just heads off. And Teddy's on the ground, like you're looking up. Teddy, like, I don't know if you've ever fainted before, Meg, like completely from standing, but like it doesn't hurt, and you just wake up like, how'd I get here? That's exactly what happened. Teddy's like, that's not where I was looking, and now all your friends are like around you.
Teddy, are you okay?
Do you need healing?
No, I he's kind of like check in, you know. I'm fine. How peculiar.
Yeah.
Did you hear any of that?
No, did the owl psychically
No.
knock you unconscious?
I fear it might have, but it was so pleasant.
It pleasantly knocked you unconscious?
Well, his name is Ib.
Ib.
But why did Ib do it?
I wish I knew, but it was delivering a message, from, well, somebody that I was supposed to meet here when I first came here. My old druidic trainer, Zalira, sent me off with his name, and it seems that he's back in town, and I'm supposed to go and meet with him at my earliest convenience, and you all are welcome to come too. I made sure to ask, so I know that we maybe have things we wanted to do this weekend and to prep for the new week, but if any of you would like to go with me, then I think it would probably be good to head over there.
Of course.
Yeah, I'm good to go now.
Certainly sounds interesting.
Yeah, we
Great.
can go down.
He's gonna push himself to his feet and dust off his...
Marigold will help you up. As in, you're doing all the work because she's not very strong. But she is there trying.
Thank you, yeah.
Good.
He's on the other side of him, also helping.
Sorry, Hayes is doing all the work.
Sure.
Marigold just looks pretty.
Xanthi will just give an assist as she does periodically without asking, casting prestidigitation on the party.
Great, thank
Clean
you.
them up.
On the party, not just Teddy.
Yes, she periodically does it whenever she notices that you guys are disheveled.
And Teddy,
Wow.
you feel fine from the aspect of being like, I passed out. That's kind of weird. But it feels more like that grogginess of like waking up from a fucking banger nap. But it's like, what year is it?
I'm well familiar.
That's what it feels like.
Love naps.
Yeah.
Okay. He lives in, Three Gardens? Is that what it's
He
called?
does, yes.
Three Gardens. Oh, okay. He's gonna kind of settle and head off.
Just as a DM question, is anyone looking at the job board while you're in front of it? Or
Oops.
no? You don't have to. Just saying, if you would like to, it is there.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
later.
Teddy like gets ready to walk off, and everyone's like, "Hey, Teddy, can we like take a second to look at the board?"
Sorry. Yes.
Teddy's just so
Great plan.
excited.
I might
He's
have to call out sick and do makeup work, so I would love to come in a little bit further by looking at the job board.
Wonderful. Yeah, please do that. Yeah, if you want to go ahead and open or continue, refresh Roll20, I guess.
Ooh. Abyssal chickens.
I love,
Ooh. Short-circuiting pelts. We're going to Three Gardens anyway,
it's true.
and that seems interesting. I'm gonna
Could
take
it
that
be tied into the wards also not really working anymore, potentially?
one. Yeah, I feel like if either of these has more like narrative things, then that's going to be more connected. But I could be completely wrong. Hang
Yeah,
on.
I think that pelt one sounds interesting.
Yeah.
We're gonna be in the neighborhood anyway, so
Mhm.
logistics
Exactly.
sound sense.
Okay, that's not it. But
Yeah. You all can absolutely, now that the bird has cleared the building, the vicinity, you see a few people also go up to the board. But yeah, if that one strikes your fancy. What, you're not going to take all of them and do them all in one day again?
It crossed my mind.
Wow, growth. Is this what we call growth?
If anything, we're getting worse
No,
because we're
just
doing
do that.
less work.
Yeah, you all started strong and are just like riding that like A+ student as far as it can take you. All right,
Well,
yeah.
we're
So
not on top anymore, apparently.
yeah, so you kind of pull down the one that says something keeps short-circuiting the pelts. Without it, our crops will fail. See Neo in 3 Gardens. Which just so happens to coincide with where you're headed this afternoon.
Yup. Let's go.
All right. Yeah. So as you all head out of the schoolhouse, and that music changed without me changing it. That's wild. That's how you all feel? That's crazy. I don't like
Now
that.
you know.
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, you head, you have to go kind of through Center Market out of the main gate of Old Haven to get into 3 Gardens. It's a busy Saturday. There's lots of people out and about. You can sense that there's almost like a festivity and jovialness in the air with the with commitment night last night. Obviously, like, everyone got to see the fireworks all throughout Old Haven. They are aware. There was decorations up. There are decorations still up, honestly. No one has taken them down in the 12 hours since or 10 hours since the event ended. And however that makes you all feel, considering what you experienced on your or the commitment night, it is still the situation happening. And you kind of wind your way through a bunch of kind of midday market situations in Old Haven and out into the country. Lack of a better word, it's not really country, it's just right outside the walls. But this is kind of, other than the sticks, which really doesn't feel like getting outside of the city still. This is your first time back fully out of the city since you went nearly 2 months ago to leave that letter, Teddy. I think you left it almost exactly like a little over 2 months ago to your druid contact. And you're kind of like, I think I remember the way, like, you got directions before, and you head towards this villa that you had been told was the one for this druid. And as you approach, you see, again, kind of a very, like, traditional style comfort house, so to speak. White walls, wood, dark stone roofs. Very much the outside of the house, or the outside of the villa, is like walled off. It's its own little contained section, with all these fields that are now starting to kind of become really lush with different plants for the late spring and early summer bloom. You can see a few of those pelts, which are essentially like Magitech greenhouses. They're not physical greenhouses, but the magic is basically having a canopy over them to help protect them from the crazy different planar things that could go on, or even swings in weather, creatures theoretically. And you see all these as you kind of follow the dirt road towards small comfort. And Teddy, you arrive back at the door that you had left a note on, which there's no note anymore, so probably a good sign.
Crazy.
I think he's just gonna go up and knock on the door.
Yeah. You kind of knock on the door, and hear almost like a slight, first a slight cooing of like a bird, and then another one, and then another one, as if like someone is relaying a message throughout the villa. And before it goes quiet. And it takes maybe like three minutes or so, and you see or hear the front door, these like two giant wooden doors, unlatch. And you all see as the door swings open, a man nearly 8 feet tall, kind of towering behind this door as he pulls it open to the villa. Deeply tanned skin, well-manicured kind of goatee and mustache, long, silky black hair that reaches down to his hips. However, he doesn't appear to be human, as tufts of feathers sprout from where his ears would be, and you see large golden eyes sit at the center of his face. His arms similarly feathered inside his robe, this like deep green kind of kimono-like robe. And at his feet, instead of any shoes, you can see he has talons, much like a hawk or owl would. And as he goes and opens the door, you can just see him go, I'm glad Ib was able to reach you. Please, welcome. Come in. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session. And the last session of the year.
And the last session of the year.
gosh.
Buddies.
Hell yeah.
No.